What's up, Curly Crew? Today I am talking about my life as an adopted child. It was a long time ago, about 13 years from now. I lived in a small village in Ethiopia with my parents, 4 sisters, and 1 brother. My family was struggling financially. We did not have the fortune to pay for medication, so within the year I was born, both of my parents died from AIDS. When the word broke out that my family was not being raised by adults, I was taken away from my 4 sisters and 1 brother. I was brought to an orphanage in the capital city of Ethiopia. There I was babysat by nannies. I was too young to understand what was going on. I lived at the orphanage for about 14 months until something unusual happened. These human beings that looked very different than anybody I have seen for the life I have lived so far. They hugged me and kissed me and said things that I did not understand. From there on, my whole life changed. For the first time, I flew on an airplane. For the first time, I went to a different country. For the first time, I was raised properly. I had a new family now. That's all I understood back then. When I was 3 years old, we flew back to Ethiopia to pick up my sister, Soleil. As we were there, we found out that my brother was brought a year later to the same orphanage that I lived at. We went to go visit him. That was amazing and emotional, but there was no sign of my 4 sisters. After visiting my brother, we flew back to the United States. When I was 9 years old and my sister was 7, my adopted parents and I spoke about my Ethiopian family. I was old enough to finally understand that my parents passed away and that my life is different than some other kids. I thought that everything was fine, but as a young kid, you don't really observe things that well. Like, I didn't know that I was black and my parents were white. It just seemed like we were all the same. I first found out about racism when my mom, sister, and I were coming back from a vacation. We landed at the LAX or airport exhausted. We were waiting in the immigration line when an officer pulled us out of the long line. He told my mom there was no possible way that my sister and I were her children. We had to wait 2 hours for him to confirm that we were family. That was really hard for my mom and I. A couple months later, something very exciting and coincidentally happened. My new family and I were at a beach party. I was playing in the sand when my mother called me over. Next to her stood a woman. That woman was telling everybody that she was adopting a boy from Ethiopia. She showed everybody a picture of the boy. That boy was my brother. That was one of the most amazing and exciting things that has ever happened to me. My brother and I now hang out twice a year. He lives not that far from me, so we can spend time together. One day, when he came over, he told me that our sisters in Ethiopia were trying to contact us. My parents instantly called an Ethiopian friend that we knew to help translate for us. We spoke with one of the sisters on the phone. That was very emotional. They were all over 18 years old. Something that was very disturbing was that my sister only spoke about 2 other sisters. We asked why there were only 2 other sisters that she was talking about instead of 3. That's when things got very sad. She told us that one sister died at age 16 because of AIDS. But since that day, I have become more resilient. So this is where the story ends. I live in a happy family now. I got to meet a lot of amazing people. But there are many other kids who are adopted, not just me. There's people from China that are adopted, there's people from other places that are adopted, and I'm not just the only person. There are many other kids, and my life is an example of many other kids, like many other stories from other kids. And I just wanted to make this video because I thought it was very important to me to kind of let my story influence others, to make sure that they also exceed in the resilience of coming from somewhere really low to coming up to really high, and being a better person. But you gotta know that your parents are also, if you're adopted, your parents are also a really big part of it. They chose you, they adopted you, they did all this to make your life better, and you should definitely keep that in mind. But I'm just so glad that I was chosen to, live a happy life with an amazing family. And I also think that my brother was very lucky, and that my sisters are still in Ethiopia right now. My oldest sister actually got married, so that's really cool. We're in touch now. We might go visit them, and I'll do a vlog on that, obviously. But I just wanted to tell you guys that I'm vlogging because I want everything, my life, to mean something, and I want people to be influenced, especially those who are adopted. I know many other kids who are adopted, and it's the feeling of being an adopted kid is very different, because you're okay. For example, my parents are white, I am black, and there are many people, like when I walk in the streets or whatever, kids are always like staring at me like I'm weird or different or whatever. But I always keep my head high, and I ignore all of that, because I know that I'm a good person. I know that there's nothing wrong with me. I have an amazing family, and I think that's very important. So for everybody, for all the Curly Crew members, for everybody out there, always keep your head high. If you start low, grow in resilience, get high, and that's the best. That will definitely make your life great. So thank you guys for watching. Please share this video, and I will see you guys next video with the normal agenda of vlogging. Thank you guys for watching. I love you, Curly Crew. Thank you so much for all the Curly Crew members out there, and see you next video.